Am I wrong for not telling my boyfriend that I had been a surrogate before we got together? I, 28 female, have been dating my boyfriend, 29 male, for a little over 2.5 years. When we began to get serious, I told him I didn't want to have kids. I wasn't interested in that, and it wouldn't be fair to string him along. He wanted kids, but we talked it over and he decided he could live without. Things were fine until we visited my family a few days ago for my dad's birthday. My boyfriend saw some old pictures of me when I was 20 and clearly heavily pregnant. He was upset and asked me what this was and thought I had a child and gave them up. I explained to him that my older sister and her husband had been struggling with fertility and she'd had several miscarriages, so I offered to carry the child for them, and my 7-year-old niece was the result of this. I in no way feel maternal love towards her. She is their biological child, and I've never felt that I was anything but the oven for her bun. I never brought it up before as I didn't think it mattered, and it was so long ago that it wasn't really anyone's business. He, however, feels differently, and when we left, he told me that I should have told him and said how it wasn't fair how I'd be willing to give my sister a child but wouldn't even consider having one with him. I got upset as there is a big difference between carrying a child and raising a child, and told him as much. I told him I was sorry for not telling him, but honestly I hadn't felt it was his business, and it had been years before we got together. I then reminded him how he had been the one to say he could live without children, as I'd warned him long ago. He is still upset with me. I honestly didn't think I did anything wrong. So, am I the asshole here?
Storytime about how I got my ex-toxic best friend jumped. So a little background information, I was 16 and a sophomore in high school. And like any of these toxic best friend story times, she was super jealous of me for literally no reason. She would literally try to be better than me in everything. Like when I did a sport or a club, she would join immediately right after. And it wasn't oh, I'm gonna join my best friend. No, it was, I'm gonna join so that way I can show her that I'm better than her. For example, in 6th grade, I was captain on the volleyball team, and she decided that she was gonna try out her sophomore year. She played it off as if she just wanted to try it out, but then I got announced captain, and she was pissed off when she heard that. She literally blocked me on everything, and she came from a super wealthy family, so she was used to getting whatever she wanted. And my whole friend group would literally tell me, you need to stop being friends with her, she's toxic, she's this, she's that. The only thing that stopped me from being friends with her was the blackmail that she had. Every time that I pissed her off, or even just randomly, she would be like, oh, I'm gonna send this out. I'm gonna expose you. She was just overall a shitty friend. So I had an exposing account on Instagram where I would expose people in my class. It got banned, but she DM'd the account the blackmail. Little did she know it was literally me who was running it. Obviously, I didn't post it, but I showed one of my friends. And we kind of made a plan to get rid of the blackmail. So my birthday was coming up and I was going to Disney, and my mom said that I could invite 2 friends. Originally, I wasn't going to invite Tessa, but since I had this plan, I invited her and one of my other friends. On the 3rd night, my friend and I decided to take our plan into action. Tessa was sleeping, so I went on her phone and I went and deleted all the pictures. So like I said, on the 3rd night, she was sleeping, so we went on her phone. I deleted all of the blackmail that she had on me, and I even went a step further and screenshotted all of the nudes that she was sending back and forth with older guys, and these guys were way older than her, like way older. And I sent them to myself and deleted the text off of her phone. Fast forward, we dropped her off at her house. I stay over my friend's house, and we decide that we're going to post everything to my exposing page. And we also came up with a really good idea. Why not send this to Tessa's parents? So we sent them to her parents. And guys, when I tell you this exposing page had so many people on it, it really did. Somebody was like, OMG, like, please send a face reveal, like, I won't tell anybody. So what did I do? I sent a picture of Tessa, and that person posted it to their Snapchat story. Fast forward to the first day of school. We're outside for gym class, and 3 girls beat her.
What famous person did you regret meeting? Alec Baldwin. Me and my sister saw Alec Baldwin, Tina Fey, and Salma Hayek on the street when we were eating lunch. They were just coming out of a car, about to go into some building next to us. We had no idea why they were together, but in retrospect, it was definitely because they were filming 30 Rock together. My sister said, oh my god, that's Tina Fey. And Alec Baldwin turned around and went right in her face and said, don't effing say that. Don't speak to us. Why would you say something like that? You can't speak to us. But it didn't really end there. He yelled again at us outside of his building saying, don't look over here, turn around and eat your effing food, F off. He sounded genuinely furious at us, almost like he wanted us to yell back and start something with him. Honestly, my sister was on the verge of tears. It was horribly embarrassing. Everybody knows now that Alec Baldwin has a history of screaming at people, but at that time we had no idea. Don't get me wrong, my sister shouldn't have yelled Tina Fey like that, but the way Alec Baldwin snapped was straight up scary, like he was about to physically hurt her. But Salma Hayek and some other lady who I didn't recognize came over and apologized to us. She asked if we wanted her to go and get Tina Fey and get her autograph because apparently Tina felt bad too. But we said no. She then talked to us about the food we were eating, which was Mexican food. Then we ended up having a brief conversation about New York's lack of quality Mexican food. She was incredibly charismatic and very sweet. Someone else said, I met Alec Baldwin once myself. I always look for his name in threads like this to see if anyone else has had a similar experience. The guy was a complete a-hole, even after borrowing a pen to write some notes for an impromptu speech he was about to give. It ruined 30 Rock for me. I'm just going to say it. There is no excuse for the way Alec Baldwin has been reportedly treating his fans over the years. We're not talking one or two people. We're talking many people sharing horrible experiences with him. Being a celebrity does not mean you get to treat other people like crap. I understand some fans can be overly excited and get aggravating, but some of these celebrities are so high up on their pedestal, they need to be brought down and humbled. His sister didn't even say anything to Alec Baldwin. She just said in general, hey, there's Tina Fey. And if he actually snapped like that on her, he needs some serious anger management. Y'all better be glad that weren't my sister, because I'm going to be the first one to hop up at the chair. Won't nobody talk to my sister like that. Nope, not even Alec Baldwin. Celebrity or not, ain't nobody disrespecting my sister. And this rule that all these celebrities have, you can't directly talk to me or look me in my eye, y'all pull that around me, because I'm going to be just like this. Say something. Have y'all heard about that though? That some of these celebrities have that you can't speak to me or look at me rule? Look, some people let money and fame go straight to their head, and they think they can treat everyone else like a slave. Sir, we aren't below you. Your head's just swelled up so big, it's floating up in the clouds. If y'all enjoy celebrity stories, let me know in the comments. I got a lot more.
I'm Layla. For my 12th birthday, my mom gave me this heart-shaped locket. Inside, there's a picture of my mom on one side and of me on the other. She told me, through this necklace, I'll be with you wherever you go. You can always look at it when you miss me. That year, both my parents died in a boating accident. I was the only one who survived. I didn't have any relatives to look after me, so I was placed in a group home. My life was completely upended. I would stare at my mother's picture and cry all day long. Eventually, a musician couple adopted me. Thanks to them, I started living again. But one day, they said to me, Layla, we've decided to get a divorce. Unfortunately, we can't be your adoptive parents anymore. At 18, I had to go back to the group home. You're allowed to live in the home until you turn 21. Since I was over 18, I could leave whenever I wanted, but I had nowhere else to go. So I reluctantly stayed there. In the meantime, I started looking for work. If I started making money, I could get myself out of there. I'd hit rock bottom again. My only source of support was my mom, whom I was carrying inside my locket. One day, the director called me into his office. There was an old guy in the room with him. The director said, Layla, I have great news for you. This gentleman represents a family that wants to adopt you. I did not expect this. I said, thank you very much, but I just turned 18. I want to start building a life on my own. The man said calmly, Miss Layla, if you accept our offer, we will make a donation of $5 million to the home. It was obviously a wealthy family, but I was weary of another adoption adventure. I looked at the director. He was waiting for my response with excitement. Well, $5 million is a lot of money, so he was right to get excited. I had to say yes, but only because I was thinking of the home. The following day, a luxury car picked me up and took me to the airport. We got on a private plane. I didn't even know where we were going. Shortly after takeoff, the old man came to me. He told me his name was Leon and he was an attorney. I'm sure you're curious about your new family. You're in for a big surprise because you've been adopted by a king, he said. He was right. Of course, I was surprised. I had so many questions. I bombarded Mr. Leon with them. He politely answered all of them. He told me that the country where we were headed was made up of 3 islands in the middle of the ocean. Its total population is 170,000. The biggest island is the capital. It's a really wealthy country because 2 of the world's biggest diamond mines are located there. Its citizens are very happy and love their king very much. When we were landing, Mr. Leon showed me the palace that was built on the highest point of the island. It looked straight out of a fairy tale. I was in a dream. Why did the king adopt me? I asked. You'll find out soon, he said. After landing, we took a short ride to the palace. It was even bigger than it seemed from the plane. There were portraits of the former members of the royal family on the walls. I still couldn't believe that I'd been adopted by a king. I was scared to pinch myself because if this was a dream, I did not want to wake up from it. Mr. Leon introduced me to Miss Isla. She was the butler at the palace. He told me she was the one who'd take care of me. She was a warm and friendly lady. First, she took me to the dining hall. Would you like to eat something before you head to your room? Every day, we prepare 99 dishes for the buffet. What would you like? I thanked her and said, I'm not hungry at all. Even seeing all this food makes me full. Miss Isla then took me to my quarters. I was staring around, mesmerized. My room was magnificent. 3 other people walked in. Miss Isla said, the royal tailors will take your measurements. They'll make you dresses you can wear every day or on special occasions. They're thinking about 100 everyday dresses and 100 gowns to begin with. Will that be enough for you? Please don't get me wrong, but isn't that a little too much? Miss Isla replied, in that case, for now we'll do 10 each. I was going to say, even that feels excessive, but Miss Isla said, in the morning you will meet the king. I'll leave you to rest. I'm sure you need it, and left with the tailors. I was so excited when I heard I was going to meet the king. What was he like? Would he like me? Why had he adopted me? Before I could even change my clothes, I fell asleep, a million questions running in my head. I woke up to a strange sound. It was coming from my window. Because my room was so high up, I thought it was a bird. When I opened the curtain, I couldn't believe my eyes. A giraffe was staring at me. I opened the window right away. I started petting the giraffe's head. Somebody yelled from downstairs, I'm sorry, is she bothering you? No, I love this. Do you have animals like this one around here? I asked. The person downstairs said, we have giraffes, peacocks, deer, parrots, even pandas here. You may run into them while walking in the garden. Are you their caretaker? I asked. Yes, my name is Lucas, he said, and I shouted down, pleased to meet you. And I'm Layla. When Lucas said, I'm pleased to meet you too. I'll see you around. Bella now needs to feed a baby. I yelled, can I come with you? I've never seen a baby giraffe. 5 minutes later, I was with Lucas alongside the baby giraffe. Unfortunately, this baby's mother died during labor. Bella is feeding her, he said, and I started tearing up. I opened up my locket and showed him my mom's picture. I'm sorry, I don't usually cry this easily. I lost my mom too. Not a day passes when I don't miss her, I said. Lucas turned to the baby giraffe. This little boy's name is Lucas. Do you know why I gave him my own name? Because he's an orphan like me. Every time I look at him, I remember I'm an orphan and I think about my mother. If we ever have a female baby giraffe, we'll name her after you, he said, smiling. At that moment, I heard Miss Isla calling for me. I'd almost forgotten that I was going to meet the king. I said goodbye to Lucas and ran to her. The king is in a meeting right now. Meanwhile, we can go and visit a spot which I think you will love, she said. After passing through many doors, we came to the place Miss Isla was talking about, a jewelry store. It had a sparkling display. When we entered, I asked, there's a jewelry store inside the palace? Is it only open to the royal family? Miss Isla and the man inside laughed. Miss Isla replied, this is not a store. These are the royal jewels. You can take anything you want. The man was holding a necklace made up of gigantic diamonds. Would you like to try this? It's one of the most valuable necklaces in the world, she said. I held on to my own necklace. Thanks so much, but I already have the world's most valuable necklace right here. Miss Isla was taken by surprise. Are you sure? You can have whatever you want from here. I don't think any girl can resist these pieces of jewelry, she insisted. Thanks so much, but I don't ever want to wear anything other than this necklace, I replied. Miss Isla said, in that case, we can now go and meet the king. I'm sure he'll be delighted to see you. When we came to the entrance to the throne room, Miss Isla pointed to a chair and asked me to wait there. Then she went in to talk to the king. Half an hour later, the door opened. Miss Isla invited me in, saying, our king and our prince are waiting for you. Going into the throne room, I was so excited I thought my heart would jump out of my chest. I was staring at the floor because I didn't know what else to do. After taking a few steps, I stopped. I heard the baritone of the king's voice. Come here, Layla. Lift up your head so I can see your pretty face. This palace has been waiting for you for a long time, he said. When I looked up, I saw the king and the prince next to him. I was so baffled that I almost fainted because the person next to the king was Lucas. He was enjoying seeing the surprise on my face and smiling mischievously. The king said with a smile, you have every right to be surprised. I'd be surprised too if I saw the animal caretaker I just met this morning as a prince later the same day. You might be even more surprised when you hear the rest of the story. Ever since you entered the palace, you've undergone a series of tests.